Get ready for the morning rush.
A quick wrap of your news and weather. We start with Kristen Curry.
Yeah, we'll begin with the next big weather maker arrives today. Showers and storms likely across a higher terrain of northern and western areas. Coverage, though, a little bit more spotty as you get into the lower elevations, including the Albuquerque metro. Hit and miss storms very similar to what we had yesterday, this afternoon, and heading into this evening. Adam?
As you get ready to head out.
Maybe.
There we go. Thanks, Kristen. As you get ready to head out the door, we're following the day's top local stories, and we're going to start with Sarah Yingling. Sarah?
A new statewide reading test for elementary school students is sparking controversy this morning. The contract for an old assessment test was up in June. That's when the PED says it chose a new one called iStation last month. But some believe it was a rush decision. PED says they moved as quickly as they could to get the information out to everyone. How teachers have to give that test coming up in the 5 Facts. Crystal?
I'll take it, Sarah. Thanks. Fire crews are investigating the cause of an overnight apartment fire in southeast Albuquerque. Authorities were called to the El Pueblo apartments near Valencia and San Pedro a little after 2 this morning. Crews say they saw smoke coming from a second story of the building. They say the fire was contained to one empty apartment and nobody was hurt.
Breaking overnight news now. 6 people dead, more than 200 others injured this morning after 2 car bombings in Turkey. Authorities say the bombers were targeting police. One bombing happened at a police station. 1 officer and 2 civilians were killed there. Later, another car bombing killed 3 more police officers.
Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail this morning with new leadership in charge. Yesterday, Trump named Steve Bannon at Breitbart News as chief executive of his campaign and Kellyanne Conway as campaign manager. Despite the changes, rival Hillary Clinton says Trump's still the same man. Meanwhile, Gary Johnson says he's raised $3 million in 3 days for his campaign.
This morning, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary is expected in Louisiana to review the federal government's response to the deadly flooding there. The death toll from the ongoing storms and flooding now stands at 13. More than 40,000 homes have been destroyed, while many areas remain under the threat of more flooding. Some residents are heading home to start cleaning up.
As you wake up today, fire crews continue to battle the massive Blue Cut fire in east of Los Angeles. The fire's ravaged more than 25,000 acres so far. It's still only 4% contained. Officials are saying that it isn't clear how many homes have been destroyed, but today the flames are threatening some 34,000 homes. The cause of the fire is still under investigation now.
Metro threat index at a 4 for today. With those spotty storms expected here in the metro, we're going to be watching for the threat of heavy rain leading to localized flooding in some of the low-lying areas. Also, some gusty winds knocked out from the thunderstorms not only in Albuquerque but around the metro too, and the lightning threat here. Now, this is mostly going to be an afternoon evening event. Some of these showers could linger into the overnight hours, but they are not expected to be strong nor severe. I do expect this threat index to climb though as we get into this weekend with the help of a cold front. Crystal?
On to developing news now. New Mexico's governor says she wants to propose reinstating the death penalty as part of her agenda in the 2017 legislative session. Governor Martinez says criminals like the ones accused of killing Hatch police officer Jose Chavez deserve a death sentence. The governor also says she feels the same about those who commit crimes against kids. On to Fernanda.
A popular ride-sharing company is back in Albuquerque starting today. This comes more than a year after Lyft left the Duke City. But this week, they signed a contract with the city of Albuquerque to do business at the Sunport. They'll give the city $1 for each drop-off and pick-up there. The money goes back into projects and maintenance for the Sunport. Cab drivers say, though, this hurts their business. Adam?
If you're behind the wheel of your own car this morning, want to get out on the roads in the metro, find out what your drive is going to look like. Things are running along just fine today. Of course, you'll have a lot of people out on the road, some company due to, of course, the work rush and anybody headed out to the school bus stops. We'll let you know if any trouble spots come up here on KRQE this morning.
On to this now. The probe into the Doghead fire will be available to the public later this month. New this morning, that's according to the Albuquerque Journal. Lawyers with the U.S. Forest Service are reviewing it right now. Preliminary findings released early last month showed a crew with the Sled of Pueblo likely started the fire as they used a forest thinning machine. It burned nearly 18,000 acres total and destroyed several homes. Catherine?
Crystal, local leaders and addiction specialists want answers. This after the adolescent unit at Turquoise Lodge closed due to underutilization. They want a discussion to learn what went wrong and how to fix it. The state says it did what it could through outreach, but tells us it didn't alert the public when it found a problem in January because they were doing what was right for taxpayers. It says a couple of weeks of high attendance wouldn't have been enough. We have a lot more on our website, krqe.com. Adam?
Flight cancellations are becoming a big problem for the Santa Fe Municipal Airport. Only 2 airlines fly out of the tiny airport, and that can leave passengers stranded during delays and cancellations. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican, the trouble is that Santa Fe's airport doesn't have the standby crews larger airports have in times of delays or mechanical problems. The airport recently got a federal grant to improve travel.
On to this developing story. Changes on the way for a busy Santa Fe intersection. Yesterday, the city of Santa Fe broke ground on a pedestrian and bicycle underpass under St. Francis Drive near Cedillos Road. The walkway will connect the Sequoia Trail and to the rail yard park and will feature a light sculpture. The work is expected to take about 6 months.
On to news from the Olympics, and today Usain Bolt of Jamaica and Andre Degrassi of Canada are expected to go head-to-head in the men's final in track and field. This comes after Bolt finished first in his semifinal heat in a qualifying race, while Degrassi finished 0.2 of a second behind him. As you can see, they here in the video, they both laughed their way across the finish line. It's getting
Here
a lot
it
of
comes
attention.
right here. So Bolt is in front. There comes a guy from Canada. He's like,
Fast.
Wow, he's picked up the pace there at the
Yeah,
end.
so
Wow.
I think what it was is Bolt was like, I already got this.
Yeah.
I'm going to qualify.
The
So
top-
his friend's like, I'm going to catch up to you.
Yeah,
Give
the
you a little
top
competition.
2 qualify, so I think he thought, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
Look at it. That's
They're
funny.
smiling.
Slow-mo.
I
That
love
is
it.
awesome.
All right, time for the 5 facts now.
We'll start with number 5. Think you can take a good photo? The National Museum of Nuclear Science and History is searching for some of the best pictures from adults and kids related to science, technology, engineering, art, and math. The top prize, $500. To find more info on entering, go to the KRQE News app.
On to number 4, 3 U.S. Olympic swimmers are expected to give statements to Brazilian police today. They claim they were with Ryan Lochte when they were robbed over the weekend in Rio. According to Brazilian media, Lochte has since changed his story. He has already left the country. The others are being held back in Rio until they testify.
At number 3, looking at a few spotty storms on the way this afternoon for parts of northern and western areas. Coverage still limited here in the metro. Not impossible to see a storm or two, though, move in for the later part of the afternoon. Our temperature is still climbing back into the mid to upper 80s underneath that partly sunny sky.
On to number 2 now. When state lawmakers return to the Roundhouse in January, they could be discussing reinstating the death penalty. Governor Martinez says she plans to pursue that as part of her agenda. The governor says the violent criminals who killed Hatch police officer Jose Chavez last week deserve the death penalty, and so do criminals who abuse or kill young children. New Mexico repealed the death penalty back in 2009.
Number 1 now, the state just selected a new test that's causing upset. It's called iStation for kindergarten through 3rd grade students. PED says iStation's cheaper and faster, and they extended the deadline so that teachers have more time to give the test. Teachers will have the first 30 days of school to administer it to elementary school students.
And we're not quite done with the storms just yet. Have a few more on the way for tomorrow over the higher terrain. Cold front moves in late Friday. We're looking at eastern plains, that is, looking at the rain chances Saturday, Sunday here in the metro. We'll add in some rain late weekend. That will continue through early next week.
Okay, so coming up in our next few hours on KRQE this morning, we're going to be having a phone bank. Why you can help out kids here in our state.
It's all in Fox New Mexico. After this break, we'll see you on the other side.